Hello, viewers, and welcome to another edition of Reminiscences. We are in Jos, the Plateau State capital, in the home of Alhaji Yahaya Kwande, who is a veteran civil servant, served in various capacities, including permanent secretary here in the Plateau, and then ambassador in Switzerland for the Federal Republic of Nigeria, in addition to various roles in politics and public service that you'll hear from him. Your Excellency, I'd like to welcome you to this program. And to start by asking you, I read somewhere that when you are very young, when you are being brought up, you are actually brought up in a kind of mixed culture. You are both a Muslim and a Christian, and also in traditional religion. Can you give us an explanation on these early years of your life when you are brought up?
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you very much indeed. It is true. That's why I call it in my book, Religious Maze. I was born a Muslim because my father was the one that was converted into Islam. And he was then in Away, in what is Nasarawa today, Nasarawa State. And we have good relationship, my family and another family in Away, in Lavia, Yahaya Sabo's family. And that linked back to slave trade, because they used to come from Kano, the grandchildren, the grandparents of Alhaji Yahaya Sabo, and that's why he has the name Yahaya, and he's the same man that was given to me Yahaya. And when I grew up, my father put me into a Roman Catholic school. The missionaries arrived in my village along River Benue, Ibi, down. My village was one of the very few, or even just two, Shandam and Kwande, were the spots that the missionaries settled. And they started, of course, with a kindergarten school. I must have been 6, 7 years old. And my father, having been brought up among the Muslim community, of course, as I told you, I was born a Muslim and gave me the name Yahaya. Then he put me into the only missionary school at the vicinity of my area. I think there were only 2, 3 schools, one in Shandam, one in Damshin, one in Kwande. So that's why I had my problem. Because when I came home from school, my parents just took it for granted. As a Muslim, they asked me to go and pray. In the morning, they got me ready to go to school. And it was taken for granted that if you are in the Roman Catholic school, you are a Christian. So I was in the Catholic school. People teaching me catechism. Even now, you know how a child, the memory of a child. I can even recite Latin, even at age 93. And I left the place, I think, at the age of 12. But I still remember what I was doing there. So I was in my home a Muslim, in the school a Christian. There was a third one. Having been born among the royal family of my village, and at that particular time, I believe 90% of the inhabitants were idol worshippers. And the chief of my area being the head priest, and this is the head of my family. So there was a tradition then that annually they gathered all members of the family that could be present and anointed them.
So you went to the shrine?
The shrine.
Yeah.
So being one of them, I used to go, and so the priest, the idol worshippers, were anointing the elders who were members of the family, of the royal family, and the grandchildren that I was one would come forward. The small smooth stone is put into a concoction and put on your chest to give you health for the year.
Mm. Can you tell us more about your education? You have hinted how you started becoming an auxiliary teacher. How from that very modest situation or background did you manage to find yourself in some of the best universities, including England, to be educated?
Well, if you ask me, I must have been a very lucky human being. I just found myself educated. I don't know whether I actually went through formal education. In Riyadh, as an assistant teacher, I had no primary certificate. But when I went to Wase, then I was selected among some young men and sent to Toro teachers training, vernacular teachers training course in Bauchi here. With the primary 4 education, I was admitted into the vernacular teachers training. It was a place for non-Hausa Muslims. Mm. All the students in Toro were coming from the, how do you call it? The non-Muslim area, like Plateau, Southern Zaria, Sekin Kagoro, number 1, was, they were the first one, the Bongo Jaws, and these were the people from the Tiv area, were the people that were being trained. Bauchi was training some set of teachers, but mostly from Hausa-speaking area and from Muslim area. So the 2 colleges in Bauchi, one was for, they used to call us for Arnas, for pagans. They call it a pagan school.
In Toro?
In Toro. And there I had difficulties again in practicing Islam because most of the students that were with me were Christians. And from there, they posted me to, I spent only barely 1.5 years, because I was supposed to have been an intelligent one of the boys in the school, because I did the 4-year course in 2 years. Because when I was in Toro, Teachers Training College, or Vernacular Teacher Training, that was the name given to the college. I was then, while I was there, somebody by name Idris, a young man too, did his middle school but was dropped because he wasn't doing well. And so they sent him to Toro from Okai. And when he came and found a vernacular and he could speak a bit of English, so he was so proud and so he didn't want to be left in class 1. I was put in class 1. So he argued it out. And they gave an examination to see whether he was actually, in fact, above the level of those that he put in. By chance, I got first. He found me in the class. He did middle school. But then they couldn't promote him without promoting me, since I was above him. So they promoted the two of us into class 2. While in the class 2 vernacular teachers course, he still was making noise. So at the end of our second year, we didn't finish. Then they told us that an examination was going to be given to the whole class, all of us there. And there was a vacancy in class 3. And so therefore, whoever that passed to the first position and the second position, particularly the two of us, if we drop below number 7 in the class, will be left there. But if we took first and second, then they will promote us again to class 3. And by chance, I got number 1, and he got number 2. So they promoted two of us again to class 3, all within a year. I came late, of course, in the school. That is another story. So all of us went into this class and were coming towards the end of the year. Then we were tested at the end of the year, and I got number 1. And was given my certificate, my vernacular teaching certificate. Then
let me take you to, you said somewhere that nobody chooses teaching, as a choice.
No. I didn't. Nobody asked me because there was no alternative. I just found myself teaching.
When did the alternative come? When did you leave teaching to go into the wider civil service?
Well, in Kuru, where I was teaching these prominent Nigerians, something happened. I had 36 students in my class, standard 5, and usually you couldn't cross to the middle school or to full secondary school unless you passed an examination class 6. But I was only teaching class 5. So I asked Mr. Roy, R. Roy, who was then the principal of the school, if he could allow me to test those in my class so that they would have experience. next year to get into examination for promotion into secondary school. So he allowed me, and he asked for permission. My 35 students in my class, except one, failed. The remaining one, like Don Kalbali, if you ask him if he has a standard 6 certificate, he hadn't. Because they were all promoted into the secondary school from standard 5 that I was a teacher. Then Mr. Roberts, T. Roberts, was the provincial education officer on the plateau. And he was all the time also teaching occasionally in the science school. Well, they call it now science school. In my time, it wasn't a science school, it was just a secondary school, government secondary school. So when he saw my performance, he recommended that I should go to Katsina Higher Teachers College. You see, I kept on going into places that I didn't choose. So we took the entrance examination with my friend and Major Mohammed from Bauchi. And then I went to Katsina. So in Katsina, I did my grade 2 teachers college. This time I could, having not got formal background in a secondary school, I found it very difficult. My English, written English, was so difficult for me at that level. So, and at that time too, I had an idea that this is the place I could now be a proper practicing Muslim. So I moved from I don't want to call it a civilized area or a developed area of Katsina into Kankorovi, right inside, because I wanted to feel being a practicing Muslim and learning Quran. Then, after a year, I failed my examination because I was concentrating more on learning to be a good Muslim and forgetting what brought me to Katsina. But of course, I moved back and I was able to finish. That's how I left Plateau. And I was now in Katsina. And that probably will bring me to, while I was there with my friend, Mohammed Mikaswa, then Ian Kefi, we stumbled over some girls, and one of them being same mother, same father with Isa Kaita, who was then the Minister of Education.
Is his junior sister? His junior sister?
Junior sister.
Yes.
And said she wanted to marry me. And I had only a bicycle. Of course, I went with my wife, also a princess from Shanda. But I think if you read my book, you will find that is the beginning of the change in my life status. Because from his help, I never taught again.
So you married her, right?
I married her.
Yes.
I never taught again. When I came back to Shanda, they made me administrative secretary to the council federation. How many now was a Lantan South, Lantan North, Shandam, Mikam, Kwanpan. The whole lot were in one native authority. So that's how I got out. And they appointed me an administrative, private secretary to a minister.
What was your experience like in this? We hear a lot about those days of Sardauna, of how the North was united, civil servants were dedicated. Is this the kind of experience you had? What was the experience? What did you learn from working with people like Sardauna in those days?
Well, not only Sardauna alone. Sardauna was among some dedicated elders that were his mates in Katsina College. So they were really dedicated leaders. So we were in school actually, and they tolerated us. I remember when Sardauna asked me to write a small memo for him. I still have a copy. When I read, I held myself. All the tenses were wrong, but he tolerated it. He took it and put into his, and acted on it. So I must tell you, we were actually walking and learning, and they were really tolerant of all the mistake. I went to swear in front of Sarge Gawain Bell, who was then the regional governor. The secret, because I was handling
the oath, official, yes.
And I said, I swear by the name of Her Majesty, the Queen of England, and her heirs. As hers. I couldn't differentiate.
Yes.
But nobody did anything. I couldn't see something wrong until evening when I came to greet Sardauna. He said, Yahaya mai rantsuwa da gashin sarauniya.
Yes. So
they were
heirs,
teaching
not
us.
her heirs.
Yes.
Right.
They were teaching us. Some Lebanese in Kano were coming to see Sardauna, and I was with him. So I went out to see them, who they were and who they wanted. I went there. Who are you? They say, we are from Kano. Just that, I went back to Sardauna and said, they are from Kano. Then he said to me, and so what? Then I went back again. I said, what do you want? Then I went back and I asked them. They said they want to see Sardauna. Then I went back to tell Sardauna, they want to see you. Then he said, have they got appointment? Then I went back. I kept on going. Then after that, he said, Yahaya, you would have done all that we have done in one go. I never forgot that. That was a wonderful teaching.
When did you become a PAMSEC? At what point were you moved from the regional to back to Plateau as permanent secretary?
Oh, no, when during my days with Sardauna, we were picked again. We were selected with Abubakar Umar and Hayatuddin, Gidado Idris, and Madakin Gwandu Idris, and many of us.
Idris Koko.
And Jeddah in Yola. We were many selected to go and be trained as proper administrative officers. Now, you have taken me back where the coup is.
Yes, 1966 coup. You are a senior civil servant in Kaduna.
Then No, from Bonu.
Yes.
Then I came to Premier's office.
Yes.
In 66.
Yes.
Then one day, in the evening, myself, Girado, and Umar from Bauchi, Abubakar Umar, were sitting and praying in about 5 o'clock in a small pond. Then Akintola came, the premier of Western Nigeria. So we had the rumors going on.
He came to see the premier, right?
He came to see the premier,
right,
in an evening. And people saying, these Yoruba people are cowards, this and that. But the man was right. So to look down upon him, they asked junior minister to take him to the airport, going back. So he went back. It was that night that they struck.
So the report was that he came to warn the premier that something was afoot, yes.
That they should, from there, go out of the country. Because he came with a plane.
Yes.
But they didn't trust him, I believe. So, while we were there with him, that evening I saw Brigadier
Is it Ademeleko?
Ademeleko. I was lucky. Coincidentally, I was there when he first visited Sardauna. I was in the house when the whole place was shaking. Everybody was trying to put things right. When he came in to see Sardauna, Sardauna met him at the gate and took him in. But that day, they were killed together. Only about 1 o'clock for Michael Aluba to bang at my door. He said, I'm Kashe Sardauna. How? Believe me, I didn't know the meaning of coup. The English word coup. He said, I'm a coup. I said, coup? Then he went on this window. I followed him there. By the time I reached the window to see him, he was on another window. We kept on until I opened the door for him. Madam Nuhu Bamelli, Ibrahim Musa Gashash were courageous enough to go and see the body. So the body was taken to Sarki Musulmi's, Angwa Musulmi, Sarki Musulmi's residence. And they laid him with his wife. And I went into the bush and told my minister, I said, Waziri, if we are not careful, Plateau people will be something to talk about as cowards. Some ministers are already going to see Sardauna's body. Come out, let us go. Are you sure? I said yes. So I got him out of the bush. And in the bush, he had a drama. Apparently, when he was leaving his house in the night, when they were shooting, he came with some new currency. In the morning, he wanted the breakfast, so Ebogwari was taming his farm, tomatoes. So he asked for a few, and the man gave him. So he took the whole bundle out to
pay him.
To pay, and the man ran away. Thought he must be a thief, and left him in the bush. Anyway, then I took him, and we also went to Angwang Sarki Musulmi. So he knelt down as a Christian, put a sign of the cross, prayed for Sardauna, then I took him back into the car.
Tell me, sir, about then, I mean, at that point, the northern government has collapsed. I believe you came back to Plateau. Was it a spam sec that you came? And how was the experience with?
No, I was still a senior assistant secretary under the Ministry of Internal Affairs and Information. I was also the secretary of a committee prerogative of Mercy. And, but when they were sending us to our homes, the very top civil servants, people like Abubakar from Gombe and Bauchi, were not feeling happy to come back to Jos because they thought they would be received well, being Hausa Fulani. So only few of us came back. So in the category of those that came, I was one of the senior people that have spent more than 10 years in the civil service. So they made me deputy secretary in the military governor's office. Unfortunately, Mr. Womack was not a friend then because he was nursing some grudges. He was in Kano when they posted them to the Federal Civil Service. Adamu Chiroma and the rest of them went on promotion to a higher grade, but he didn't. So he thought they did that because he was not a Hausa Fulani. So he found himself now a governor of his own state. Thank God. If you next time read my book, you will see I had posting, almost 10 posting within a month. I was looked at as the Sardauna's representative. Anything I did then, don't bring your house here. Don't bring Sardauna here. I kept on. From being a deputy, they sent me to be a senior assistant secretary in the Ministry of Finance. I think I spent only about a week. So I was push here.
But how did you cope? Did you quit the Plateau service?
No, I didn't. Patience. Perseverance that we learned when we were in Northern Nigeria, when we were in the Northern Nigerian Civil Service. I told you what we used to write. Terrible English. But our senior tolerated it provided they know your meaning. They know the meaning of what you are saying, and they will act on it.
Yeah.
Until we reach the stage that the graduates of Northern Nigeria started coming. I used to laugh at them because as soon as they come, they used to call us illiterate permanent secretaries.
Illiterate?
Illiterates. Because they are graduates, university graduates. You are permanent secretary and they are assistant secretary.
But let me take you back to the Plateau, sir.
Yes.
Did your patience pay? After being patient, did you really...
It did pay because I became the best of friend to Gomok that was persecuting me before he died. And it is in my book, he wrote with his handwriting. Hardworking man, best person. I wish people will copy you. And
of course, you became his neighbor also.
Then I became his neighbor. But I was eventually arrested and chained because
of the coup.
Being his neighbor. Because we have a tradition of my family, or my tribe, when a guest comes, you feed him for three days before he gets ready with his pot and fire. So because I was doing all the thing from here, they thought I knew what was happening. So they arrested me. But I stayed 14 years in prison and I was released. with apology.
For 14 days, I think.
Yes.
Yes. You also were an ambassador to Switzerland, I believe, but this was after your participation in politics.
Of course.
Yes. How did that happen? How were you appointed?
Well, with all this juggling, when Gomo died, leaving me with the relationship, my colleagues then turned me into a foe. I was then again another enemy. The man who didn't like me at the beginning. So therefore, they were writing. He appointed me permanent secretary of Commerce and Cooperatives. I was in the office only about 2-3 months when the coup came. Then all my colleagues, at that time with Murtala, every civil servant, or most of civil servants, wanted to show how honest they were by accusing others. So you have to pinpoint to pencil your colleague and say he's dishonest so that you will be the honest man. So they were accusing also, they were listing, give me a name of those in your ministry that are not good, rotten, this, so that they can pull them out. It was during that time, I was suddenly saw my name number 1 in the list of those that were to be probed. They probed me. I have a letter of apology at the end, after 2 years. That's how I left the service.
And you joined politics at that point?
Yeah, when I left the party, I must tell you that Alhaji Abdullahi, the present chairman of APC now, Abdullahi Adamu was the secretary to a company, Bepco, a building company on the plateau. He was the one that invited us to his house. That was my first time of partisan politics. I wouldn't say I was not a politician during Sardauna because we were used. But as partisan politician, it was Abdullahi Adamu that dragged me into it when we were establishing NPN. And that's how I got involved. And to the extent that when they are talking about rotation, now I laugh because it started then. When Akeloe, Ikweme, and the rest, we went to Lagos, and they said, "No, look, NPN followers are from the north. We concede the presidency to you. Give us 3 names, so that you don't give us 1 name, and when we elect him, his loyalty will be to you." So we came back to Kaduna, 5 from 19 states, and selected. We couldn't produce 3 only, because Taka did something. He was being managed like an egg, because we wanted northern Nigeria to be intact. So whatever we were doing, we were looking at his own interest. He knew he wouldn't be elected. They elected Ademochiroma, Metamasule, and then he himself asked his 5 people to say Taka, Taka, Taka. So he alone from Benue got 15 votes. False vote, fake vote. We couldn't tell him anything. He said, what is the rules? What is the condition? So we allowed him. So we went with 6.
6 names.
6 names. And that's how Shagari emerged later on.
If you take that analogy now, we are in a situation where our brothers in the South are saying, do the same to us. Rotate it now nominate somebody from the South to be the candidate. What will you say to that?
No, but we did it already. You know, I don't like it since it is not an item of our constitution. Any political party like to win. You are planning to win. You don't plan to please somebody. However justly the whole thing is, you are planning to win. If you will take your brother of the same mother and you know he's the one that will win the election, of course you promote him. So it was that situation that we reciprocated by Obasanjo being. But when he came out and the crisis with Abiola, believe me, I was there. We sat down and said, these people have been wounded. They have been harmed. We don't want Nigeria to break. He didn't ask for it. We said, let's go to the West and take somebody after Abiola.
So, but I would say that if, and I know you are very keen about an Atiku presidency. You have said it. Indeed, you expect, you say, to live long enough to see it. But Atiku has a running mate who is an Igbo in 2019.
Good.
And who knows what will happen now? Will you be surprised if he has a Igbo running mate?
An Igbo is a Nigerian.
Yes.
He has every right. But the rest of Nigerians are studying to see how far he gets to. Number two can never be number one in activities. He is a deputy. The only person that I'm afraid of is a wiki to be a vice president of any president in Nigeria in future, because I believe one day he will start slapping the president the way he is going. I didn't like him when he was commissioning this commission. I was so happy. I said, look, we have somebody. Rivers were our friends. Then suddenly, when he started abusing the deputy governor of Bendel, no, what do you call Bendel now?
Edo, yes.
Not our cancer. Because she's too erratic. A person like that cannot hold Nigeria.
But you know, the argument is that the vice president is a heartbeat away from the presidency. If the president collapses, the constitution, and we saw it happen with Goodluck Jonathan, the vice president automatically becomes the president.
That is also another fear. But what can we do? At least we will only do it and pray that it does not happen.
Do you still expect to see Atiku becoming president?
I've always thought that he was a president. He had one election that had been taken away from him. I believe so. But the Atiku's problem is not the masses. It's not the voters of Nigeria. He is a child that collects hate. Those on the upper class of Nigeria, particularly northerners, are so jealous of that man's success that they usually blocked him at the eve of success. I've seen it. And this time, if he hasn't made it, then that will be the end. But I believe he will make it. All these things they are doing, call them one by the side and ask, so what are we going to do? They will tell you, anyway, who do we have? The enemies will tell you that, of course, only Atiku. They will mention two people, they will say Atiku. They will mention two people, they will say Atiku. When they mention one person, they will say Atiku. But they're still going around. All the questions of zoning is as a result of the Southerners fearing that Atiku will be a candidate of the North that will pair with somebody else. And Northerners are such that at the eve, they don't meet. As the Igbo man said, when they bow down to pray, it was then that they passed the messages. So, believe me, it has always been so. So therefore, the Southerners say, no, zone it to us, so that they will zone somebody below Tinubu. That's why they are fighting. It wasn't like that. But they promoted themselves in such a way that the East now started thinking, is it only the West? So they have also started thinking.
Are you still active in politics? Do they come visiting to consult you?
Yes, the governors do come in to say hello to me and look after me. I think it's coming on Saturday, I think. I'm interested in politics, but the body will not allow me anymore, no energy. You may not believe that I've been up there for 3 days. It's only today that I came down.
I see.
Not that I'm sick. I had the grace, God's grace that 93, I still walk without a stick. And I still have my memory still working. So therefore, I sit down and look at television and listen to. I knew that they were lying. However, whatever they did, they will come to the position, PDP, of saying everybody should contest. And it's because of what you. They were trying to block it. And with our tactics in the PF since Shehu Yaradua, we still have it.
Let me ask you something about your situation here in Plateau. You are here in Jos, you've always been here, yet there is crisis always between Muslims and Christians and killings and destruction, yet we never had it affect you. How do you manage to navigate this conflict?
Well, it isn't deep in the heart of a Hausa man hating. All they wanted is to be recognized. And I have been fencing for them. Why should Lafia have a Kanuri man be in the emir? How far is Lafia and Maiduguri?
Very far.
They were there and they conquered them. Some places they accepted them, they are fair with other people. Now you cannot even know who is a Kanuri man because every Gwandara can put marks on his child and he becomes a Kanuri. So you don't even know who is who now. So therefore, they have no problem. But in Jos, I have told Bango, you know this word Bango? Guam is the name Sardauna asked them. What do you call a chief? Then they say bomb. How do you call a big thing? They say bomb. He said, I will give you bomb, big chief. It's now become, he created it for them. He loved them. But there are people in Jos that were part of establishing native town in Jos years back. They have every right to be a citizen. But the problem is that the native do not accept these few 20 families. And so they strengthen themselves by anybody coming tomorrow, Dankoli, provided it's a Hausa man, to be part of their instrument to fight the other people. Otherwise, it is an easy, look, my son, Suleiman, has won election, House of Representatives, 2 terms in Jos. They know I am not a Hausa. They know I'm from Sardauna. They know my son is from Sardauna. But these people are not actually discriminated.
The natives of Jos.
The native of Jos. The Hausa native. They are not. It's an example. He's even contesting the 3rd term. But the people refuse to accept those that should have been native, should have been part of them. And because they do not accept them, anybody coming from Katsina, Kano, tomorrow, he can get incorporated into the family for the purpose of strengthening the fight. So
you're blaming the Hausa community for intolerance. That's part of the problem.
No.
Yeah.
It is the native that are intolerant.
Okay.
That's why they're always fighting me. I always tell them, these people have no problem with you. Leave them. When I asked Jang, he came to see me just 3 days ago, how many buses will you take to remove these houses away? When? Can you? So the best thing is to accommodate them. And the best way, Bam from both did it. When we advised him, he agreed. He appointed a Hausa man as Turakin Jos in Wali. Appointed a Jarawa as Galadima Jos. He said because he was an emir without a lower chiefs. He was alone. He went to Kano when the emir's wife died, and everybody was coming with entourage, and he came alone, at 1st class. So we told him, you want to be chief, then you have to build yourself. Accept these people. They don't do anything to you. They are not looking to be bongo.
But in your personal life, you also have this example where even your daughter, you accept the fact that she's a Christian and married to a Christian.
Is that the only one? My wife of 52 years that you saw here is a Christian. We have 52 years. She's an Anglican Christian follower. And I usually take her to the church. 1 hour, I go to bring her back. But I have told you,
yes,
I've been brought up also in the Christendom. I've been brought up as a Catholic. I can still recite Latin.
So you don't feel threatened amid this conflict in Jos?
No. She is on her own. When we are joking with each other, as soon as she comes back, I tell her, which of the God did you meet today? How? I said, because you have 3. Then she will answer me. He said, Alhaji, you have no spirit to understand it. I said, well, of course, I haven't got the spirit to understand it, because I should understand it. We joke. And my daughter is married to, she's a Christian. She's also married to a Christian. I took her to the altar. They say, have you got a Christian cousin that will take your daughter? I say, why? She's my daughter. Because her mother died 1 hour after she was born. So I sent her to my cousin in the Netherlands, Mr. Darlon, who brought her up. Then she was indoctrinated. And when she came back, I sent her to Katsina, to Bakori Secondary School, thinking that that's where she will be converted back to Islam. But unfortunately for me, the soldier, when general in Katsina, had also a Christian wife and had a child, a girl also that was Christian. So they put them together in the same room.
So you accepted the fact that she.
And then when she came back, I was a council governing. I was a member of the governing council of Abuja University. So I put her in university. She wanna meet the same girl that she left in Bakori, in the university, and they were in the same room. And one day I had my daughter evangelizing. Eventually she married. I said, good luck to you.
Let me ask you about your chieftaincy title. What has happened to it? It's 30 years.
33 years.
33 years, yes. Are you still expecting, or have you given up?
My cousin is now there. I'm 93.
Okay.
But if they gave me, I would have still gone, even if I was 100. You know, this thing is like a poison.
Yes.
So I went there not fighting, but I went there to be reinstated because we were in court. So when they gave my cousin, the following day I congratulated him and sent him all the regalia of a chief. That is the end of it. We are still together.
Thank you, Alhaji Yahaya Kwande, for this very engaging talk, really very insightful.
Thank you very much.
We wish you...
I hope you have what you want.
We wish you long life. Yes, indeed, I've learned a lot. We wish you long life and continued service to our country.
Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you. Viewers, that was a very long and I hope you found interesting episode of Reminiscences, and I hope you will join us again in this program. Goodbye.